Trying to get that early bird special at the SNS cafeteria.
So, fuck you for that. Also, does that work? Because I love SNS cafeteria.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Do you think we should wait for Hunter to get back from the bathroom or just go on and go?
They say there's no time like the present. Maybe we ought to just start.
He'll get back when he gets back, right?
That's right. Guys, this is Beacon House coming at you today on this wonderful afternoon in the summer. And Hunter will be joining us shortly. We think he's stuck using the restroom right now.
Birthing a child.
That's right. He's got things going on. He's dealing with issues. Okay, so
those Sonic mozzarella sticks definitely add up.
That's right. But we feel like he's going to persevere. He's a tough little guy, and he's going to get through this. So in the meantime, this is your host Spence.
I'm Casey,
and we're going to just go ahead and start talking to you guys. What's going on today, Case?
I'm getting over the cold.
Summer cold.
There's nothing worse. There's hands down nothing worse than getting a cold when it's humid and gross outside.
I agree. Why do people say that? Like, I can't figure here. Like in the winter when it starts getting cold, and you see people are all just like, "Oh, I'm going to get sick. and everybody starts bundling up, and they're just, you've heard people your whole life, "Don't go outside with that jacket, you'll get sick," or blah blah blah. But apparently, it's a lot more favorable to be sick when it's cold and outside with very low humidity and that kind of thing than it is to be sick during the summer when it's just hot and terrible.
Well, see, I know it's more miserable in the summertime, but you kind of think maybe the humidity helps break up that mucus in your lungs.
I don't know. I mean, I definitely agree with people that go, "There's nothing worse than a summer cold."
Yeah,
I agree with them. I just don't know why. It sucks to be sick anytime, but fucking,
because the humidity, it makes it hard to breathe outside, especially here in Tennessee when it's so thick you can cut it with a knife.
That's true. And I don't know where we actually are on like the national scale, but I've definitely heard rumors of like that we have like the worst pollution. Knoxville is like one of the highest in terms of just like air quality.
Yeah,
one of the worst in the nation, and we're definitely terrible on humidity. Like
that's because we're in a bowl. Everything just settles on top of us.
And sorry, I'm eating some nuts over here. Don't read into that, folks. Don't read into that.
I'm all the way on the other side of the table, so.
None of them know that. You could be sitting right next to me. Anyway, but yeah, we're definitely in a bowl, so a lot of like the pollution and the humidity and all that kind of crap gets kind of stuck right on Knoxville. But you know what's weird? That also sometimes kind of insulates us from terrible weather. Like if you have a horrible storm coming out of Nashville, usually most of it gets scraped off on the plateau as it moves east across Tennessee and the parts of the southeast like that. So our positioning right on this side of the Cumberland Plateau actually saves us from a lot of terrible weather. I feel like Nashville gets way worse like storms and shit than we do, but that same effect, those high, like the fact that we're kind of in this weird canyon of I don't know, like. Again, somebody talked to me about the climate, but it traps a lot of shit here that we don't want either. So it's a catch-22, I guess,
Speaking of climate, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
What? Okay.
If it's a question about climate change, I wish I could answer it, but I can't.
No, I mean, my big thing is people who say that there's no global warming and there's no climate change and whatnot.
Right.
What is it that the people who believe in climate change and want to make the Earth a better place are saying that makes the other people so mad? Is it the solar panels? Is it the wind turbines? Is it the lack of coal and oil?
I don't know. I know that it's a really polarizing argument, and I wish we had somebody. Honestly, this is one of those times I wish Eric Stamm was here to talk about it. Eric Stamm's taking all kinds of geology classes right now.
Should we wait until he gets on before we really get...
I think we've got a climate episode in us about geology and about eons and this sort of thing. With I've had conversations like this with Stamm, and for starters, I don't think you can even have the argument unless you are willing to observe the climate on Earth for millions of years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can just go, well, in the last 3 years, the average global temperature has gone up, or that we've noticed the receding of the polar ice caps. Like, because that's true.
But underneath those polar ice caps that are melting right now, they're finding evidence of civilization. So clearly someone's lived there before where there wasn't ice caps there.
Well, Antarctica used to be on the equator, and it was a tropical paradise.
Really?
Yeah, that's proven. We know that to be true. So the Earth changes a lot. It goes through weird periods. There have been so many, like, we know that about 40,000 years ago there was an ice age. You know, which our ancestors lived through alongside like woolly mammoths and mastodons and shit like that. But many times prior to that, the whole entire planet froze over. Like near the Precambrian period and all this kind of stuff. So we're literally the only thing, like I saw, again, everybody, if you want to check out a phenomenal series about the origins of life and just the different eras of this planet going down through history, check out PBS Eons, EONS. You can watch all the series on YouTube, follow them, like them. They're so fucking cool, man. And they have these fascinating little, like, between like 5 and 15-minute long episodes where they talk about all kinds of stuff. Most recently, the one I saw talked about sponges. Like the original sponges may have been the first ever, like, big, really, really, really not, not like the first life form that was like a complex multicellular life form. It wasn't just like an amoeba or something. And they lived in the ocean when the whole world was so fucking cold that most of it was covered in ice. They reason that near the equator it might have been kind of slushy, but basically the entire planet was a huge snowball. But in the ocean, these things were able to live. And the fact that they were so incredibly, the sponges were so resilient, actually they say it saved life on Earth. And again, go watch PBS Eons about the sponges and you'll figure it out. But it's neat stuff like that. So I don't think you can talk about climate and climate change and the effects. And obviously we're having an effect on the climate. Obviously we're polluting the environment. Obviously we're like the new card in the deck that's changing the game. And
cue that sunset on the 3 big smokestacks pumping out, gases.
Right. But I feel like the contingency comes when people start going, okay, yeah, so we're pumping all this pollution into the air, but then some guy comes along and goes, yes, but every time a volcano erupts, it puts enough, like, carbon in the atmosphere, more than, like, every single car running, like, 12 hours a day for the next 600 years. And that happens all the time. So, yeah, we're doing something, but I feel like the debate is over how much effect we're actually having and how much the world can't just cleanse itself of pollution and us when it's ready, or, I mean, I mean,
that's what George Carlin said. It's like, the Earth's not going anywhere. It's been here for billions of years.
Yeah, it's going to be us to get wiped out.
We're going somewhere. Pack your shit, folks. We're going away.
Yeah, underneath the nice frilly, like, surface of the Earth, it's just granite. There's just mantle and stuff. Like, the planet's going to be fine long after we're gone.
Yeah.
And there were millions of years, billions of years probably, that the planet was uninhabitable by any life. So, I mean, I get it that the water's not as clean as it used to be and the trees aren't as, I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert to talk about this kind of stuff, but...
Is it possible that we're having the polar opposite of an ice age right now? It's just, we're having like this real bad heat age?
I don't know.
Even a thing?
Again, dude, you have to look at historically. If you look at like the Farmer's Almanac, like this, I feel like in the last couple of weeks, we had some of the coolest summer temperatures that we've had in a long time for July. Yeah. Like at night, the humidity has been very low, and it's been very palatable at night a couple times where it almost felt like fall was coming on. And that's right in the middle of July. So again, I don't think global warming can necessarily be related straight to the temperature outside right now. I think global warming has a lot to do with the recession of the polar ice caps. So over a year, was the average temperature a little warmer than it was like before? And are the ice caps melting? And what does that do to the levels of the ocean? And it's a big, complicated thing. And again, I'm not qualified. This is just stuff I've read about.
Me neither. I find it interesting when people argue, like you have like a scientist saying, global warming's a thing, climate change is a thing, we're burning the planet alive, we need to do something about it. We need to resort to solar panels and wind turbines. And the people who don't believe that are like, no. And it's like, but why though? What's wrong with solar panels and wind turbines and like water powered stuff?
A lot of people say that's worse for the environment than the fossil fuels.
Really?
Yeah. And a lot of like science people say that. Scientists have talked about.
How would solar panels be worse?
Because the materials it takes to create them and dispose of. Same way with like when you talk about like hybrid cars. Hybrid cars have this fucking battery in them.
Hybrid.
Yeah, and that's fine. You're getting great gas mileage.
Yeah.
But for people who act like I'm saving the environment by driving a hybrid or an electric car, nope. Not when it comes time to dispose of that battery, which when it goes in the landfill is worse for the environment than like 80 million fucking plastic bottles. So see what I'm saying? You got to be careful. We did an episode recently where we talked about kind of like fact checking your stuff and citing your sources and that kind of thing. So people who are trying to sell clean energy, I get it. And we definitely need to move towards clean energy. And I believe nuclear energy is actually clean as long as we figure out how to contain it. And that sucks too. Like you hear people, there's some scientists recently that were talking about, they go, man, we have better, like everybody's watching Chernobyl and they're going, no, we need to get away from nuclear energy. But like, that was like one of the first times we had a meltdown. Or I mean, that was one of the first really big nuclear catastrophes. Now they have reactors that will fail to safe. Like when they fail, they don't like, there's not a meltdown. Like they just go to zero and it's contained. And there's different versions of like nuclear power plants and shit now. So, and the guy aside, he goes, imagine if the first time they were working like an engine, like a gasoline engine, and it blew up if they just stopped. We'd still be in horse and buggies. You know what I mean? Like at some point you have to go, all right, let's try again. And I mean, I get that the consequences are more severe with nuclear energy, but I think that from what I've seen, again, I'm a fucking guitar player. What do I know about anything? But from what I've read, nuclear power probably is the cleanest, really high yield type of power. But there's a lot of, for every type of like solar panel and turbine and whatever you see, there's a whole bunch of people that'll talk about how those things are actually just as bad for the environment, but in a different way.
Right.
So again, you know, do your research. I don't know which thing is correct or which thing is not. I think we need to be careful. And I do enjoy when people point out the reason we need to talk about the environment and we need to talk about clean energy is because of future generations. Like we may not be affected by it in our lifetime, but like our kids and our kids' kids and like, you know, somebody's going to have to, we're going to leave the ticket and somebody's going to have to pay it. And we need to be careful about that shit, you know?
Yeah. And like, I didn't bring up this topic to start some sort of weird argument. Sure. And I'm sure people listening have their own opinions. And feel free to leave them in the comments and let me know so I can learn
you guys
something. Educate
us. Like, let us know what is the actual thing. What have you seen about renewable energy?
I've watched a few documentaries, and it seems like going for clean energy's the better route. But also, you know, the Earth is a weird planet.
Sure. Well, and even if you just look at it from a technology standpoint, like I'm a big fan of like classic. I don't know, like classic cultured stuff like that. I like old records. I like old cars, old guitars. You know, I like the nostalgia of it. But at the same time, if you listen to like Rogan, he'll talk about like he's got some old muscle cars and stuff, and there's a romance to that sort of thing. But he also has a brand new Tesla, like the sport model, you know, and he says it's the fastest thing he's ever driven, and it's obviously like a new thing. And if he really wants something that's efficient and fast, he's taking his Tesla. He's taking the electric car. And if he wants to go out for a weekend with the boys or whatever, maybe he'll take them also, you know, just to drive it. But you can see there's a progression of technology there. If you want old school, fine. But I don't think anybody would argue that a 1970 Buick is somehow more efficient than like a modern electric car that's really tuned well. And, you know,
I have an interesting question. If in our lifetime it became possible through technology to preserve yourself and be like,
are you talking about downloading your consciousness?
Or like
people have been talking about that lately.
Like freeze yourself,
right?
Like you go into like a stasis, and then you set a time, almost kind of like Futurama. You set it for whatever time, and then if someone's still there, they can let you out. 500 years. Would you do it just to see what the future looks like?
Here's what I think. I think this is the best answer I can give for that. I would probably not do it now because I'm over 40. Okay? But if I was like a teenager, I would probably give it a shot. And here's why. I just feel like the older you get, the harder it is to adapt to stuff. And so...
oh my God, Hunter's done pooping.
Holy crap, hang on a second. Did the bathroom break over?
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to, just to bring you up to speed there, boss, we're talking about, Casey posed the question of if it was possible to freeze yourself, or like in a stasis, and then be revived at some point, or maybe not. But that'd be the gamble. You might freeze yourself, and nobody might ever either.
The Earth blew up, and you just be gone with it,
or the power goes out, and somehow you melt and die, or
No, but if you melted, you would just wake up. Like if the power went out, I mean, of course, if they're going to put you in stasis, they would have backup generators.
If that's the case, you could wake up in the middle of a fire or something like. So there'd be a risk at being frozen, but there'd also be
you'd be like that dude in a bear suit.
Yeah, you get to see things
exactly
that nobody else from your generation would get to see. I don't know. I feel like it would be harder to adjust the older you were, and so at my age right now, I don't think I would want to be frozen and woken up. I think I've seen enough of the progression of things, and I don't. I know I've said this before. I just don't think we're getting better. I think our phones are getting better. Our cars are getting better. I don't think we're getting better necessarily.
No, we're getting much worse.
But if you could, like,
I think
right
we're
now,
getting much weaker and much more weak-minded.
My bowels have been in stasis for the last 45 minutes. So
we know.
We know.
We couldn't wait any longer. We knew you were giving birth to one of those Sonic mozzarella babies.
We informed
they're so worth it though.
We informed the listeners.
There's no better poop than when you poop out something that's been there for a while.
Yeah.
I guess so. I never know how long it's been.
You don't keep an inventory?
Hold on a second. Have you never taken a poop that after you're done, you're like, I feel a million times. I didn't even realize I felt bad today until I took a crap. And now I feel so good.
I feel better every time I poop.
You should see a doctor about that.
Huh? I always feel better when I poop. I never think like, oh, that's been in there for a while. I just go, that's probably there from yesterday or this morning or something, you know.
See,
I ate that recently. That's my thought. I must have eaten that soon.
My problem is like my butt knows when there's a toilet nearby. So when I have to go to the bathroom and there's a toilet, it's like, and I'm like, oh, gotta go.
That's medically impossible.
It's not. That's what I
have irritable bowel syndrome.
But your butt doesn't know the proximity of a toilet.
Like you have irritable hobo syndrome.
What?
I got nothing. Honey, you want some nuts?
No, I'm good.
Casey made fun of me for having nuts in my mouth during the podcast. Also, he wanted everybody to know he's not sitting near me. But I'm like, they don't know that. They can't see you.
I chowed down 2 sacks of nuts before I came over here.
These nuts.
I believe it.
Got him.
How many dollar bills has your bowels asked you for?
Oh, man, hundreds.
Oh, God. Never mind. Sorry.
I've definitely cashed a lot of checks my butt can't cash.
A dear friend of ours discussed wanting to shake a rubber...
wrote a lot of checks my butt can't cash.
You confuse me so bad.
A dear friend of ours of the podcast said that he wanted to have a rubber chicken on hand for when someone asks for money. So he can
Let's go and identify that man. That man is Randy Wetzel. Randy fucking Wetzel, the legend,
said... He wants to give me a rubber chicken for when people ask
No, he said that
he wanted to.
He had the idea that it would be when you go downtown or you're about to... you're just going to get hit on... Like you go to Atlanta or something, you're going to get hit on by bums. He said it'd be great to have a pair of handcuffs and a rubber chicken. And when they walk up to you, act like you're reaching in your pocket or something to get money, and then they put their hand out, you just handcuff the chicken to them and send them off, And now there's a guy with a rubber chicken. Nobody will talk to him, It's like flagging them. It's like when you tag a shark, We've studied this one.
Oh, my God.
Practice got weird last
night.
That
was a little insensitive, I think. Anyway, so would you be frozen? What would you do, Hunter?
I don't know, man.
See, I'm 30. I feel like I've lived a good 30 years.
Provided that the suspended animation pod had a toilet in it.
If I go into stasis and I have another maybe 40 years after I come out of stasis, I think that'd be pretty cool, especially if I came out in like some sort of future that was way better than it is right now. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah, but I don't share your Star Trekian view of the future.
That's fair.
I feel like it's...
You're Roddenberry.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
See, what I feel like what would happen
Ridley
is...
Scott.
I would be frozen in stasis. Something would happen and there'd be like some sort of apocalypse. And then over a few hundred years, there'd be like a renaissance of like huge technology boom. And that's when they would rediscover me and bring me out of stasis and be like, you were frozen 1,000 years longer than you were supposed to be.
And you'd be like a trillionaire because they'd want your stories and everything. You'd have access to all the new medicines. You could go live... That's actually not a bad...
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
that is not a bad idea.
That is one great reason to think about the future. Is
I'd go to my bank and be like, how much should I earn in interest?
What about the part where like they take a look at you and go, we know you got like a good 40 years left, actually 70 with medicine.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, they're like, no, we can upload you to the fucking cloud now.
In 15 years, we kind of need you to go to the top of a cliff and jump off because you will have expired.
Okay. That gives me 15 years to enjoy the new future.
He took that pretty well.
He did. Of course he did. One-way ticket to Mars.
I don't know. I feel like the future is going to be a lot more like Idiocracy than it is like this utopian Star Trek.
What do you mean, think we're living in the future?
I mean, dude,
But isn't it also weird that people, I mean, you talk to some people about the apocalypse and they want it. Mm-hmm. Like some people are like, give it to me. The fact that I don't have to work every day. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, but you also don't get food every day. Like that's going to be a luxury and not,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because other people think that because they watch Doomsday Preppers for 5 seasons and knew how to grow potatoes in their backyard, they're invincible. And, nature will prove
Matt Damon
otherwise.
taught me how to grow potatoes in my own shit.
Look,
that's scientifically accurate.
I don't want to say anything insensitive or...
It's okay, I did.
All I'm saying, man, is like outside of your just general like group of friends, society in general these days, like I'm talking like top to bottom, like the average, we're talking common denominator in society to these days is just not that inspiring. I know that's terrible. What a terrible thing to say, but I spent 2 hours today at the Social Security office waiting on my number to get called so I could get a replacement card, Trying
to get that early bird special at the SNS cafeteria.
So, fuck you for that. Also, does that work? Because I love SNS cafeteria. I like when the guy's doing magic. Do you guys know this? Can I tell a story about that?
Did he make the meatloaf taste better?
Listen, I have some pictures of it. So back when I had...
It was really good, Casey.
I give you every right to make the worst joke to me.
No. Listen.
That was brilliant.
So fucking back when I had hip replacement surgery, okay? And then like...
That doesn't help your case.
Oh, I know.
It doesn't.
It fits perfectly with this. And so we had to go somewhere and eat. And my mom took me and a couple of friends, those friends being Eric Stamm and Randy Wetzel. And we all went to the SNS cafeteria. And I was on a walker.
Oh, God, dude.
Okay, except I was like under 40.
Yeah.
And anyway, there's like all these people in there. And again, it's old people. I'm not trying to be ageist or anything, but it's generally an older crowd that goes to SNS. And because they like cafeteria.
The closer you get, the more appropriate it is.
I think it's fucking awesome. I think their food's great. It's a little heavy on the MSG, but whatever.
But it's super cheap.
Oh, I meant on the ageism. Sorry.
Dude, and there's like a magician who's doing magic tricks and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with that guy. Like, I was salty. I was on painkillers. I could barely walk, I was just not having it. And like, they kept trying to get the guy to come over to me. And I'm sitting there trying to eat some like pretty generic green beans or whatever this plate I picked, And the guy, and finally they made the guy do a balloon animal. And they made it like a little race car and like handed it to me. And they've got this picture of me outside SNS on a walker with like mostly a beard and a toothpick hanging out of my mouth in sweatpants because that's all you can put on when you've got an incision the size of your fucking forearm going down your leg,
Yeah.
And I'm standing there holding this fucking balloon race car on a walker, just looking like an old nasty clown out of some fucked up circus,
Hey, kids.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
I remember seeing you. I remember visiting you in the hospital after you had your surgery and having to walk up and down the hallway with you so you could exercise.
Fuck yeah, you did. That's right. I was over at Park West there.
I brought you a Joe Muggs.
Motherfuck. That's how I got up and walked.
Holy shit. That's a good motivator.
Somebody hands me a fucking ice smoke, I'm ready to go. I don't care. I can be missing a head.
He sit there and he drained that drink in a matter of minutes. Was like, and he was like, all right, I gotta walk. And I was like, all right. And I had to like help him up and hand him his walker. And we walked up and down the hallway.
Dude, that's also the only time I ever had an Oxycontin. I remember I came out of surgery and they were like I woke up just a few hours later from a full hip replacement. And you just wake up and you have this insane like pain. It doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere. It's just there. And everything is just throbbing. And you're like, oh. And then there's somebody there and they go, how's your pain on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'm like, a fucking 14,
Yeah.
And they go, okay. And they give you a shot. We're going to give you some more like morphine. They go, we can't bring you to a room until it's below like a 4 or something. And I go, okay, so they give you a shot, you immediately fall back asleep. You wake up again. How's your pain? Well,
9.
It's like an 8 or something. Give you another shot. And then, like the third time I woke up, I was like, man, it still fucking hurts. She'd go, okay, we're going to give you an Oxycontin. They give me a pill. And I mean, it was like -3.
Yeah.
And so they put me up in a fucking room and like they gave me a Sprite, a can of Sprite to try and drink. And I was so out of it from that Oxycontin that like every time I leaned forward to drink the Sprite, I passed out and smashed my eyeballs into it. And my mom was in the room and watching me, and she was like, "Stop it! Take this straw." And so I go, "Oh, thanks, Mom." I put this. So then I'm just leaning for every time. Literally, I tilted my head forward. I was out,
yeah.
And I was trying so hard to drink this fucking drink, and I was like ramming the straw into my eyeball. Finally, she's like, "You should just rest and drink this later." I was like, "I'm so fucking thirsty. I have my eyeball."
See, mine was a hydrocodone. When I had my wisdom teeth taken out, they gave me hydros. And I remember my mom cutting them in half because she was afraid I was going to get addicted to them at like 16 or 17, however old I was. And so she was petrified I was going to get addicted to them. So she'd cut them in half and give me only half of them. And I remember the first night I took one, my face finally quit hurting. And I watched a 3.5-hour river monster special where they're going to show me the world's biggest catfish.
Yeah.
And of course they waited till like the last 20 minutes to show it. And I just was like this. My mom would open the door every like 30 minutes, be like, "Go to bed." I was like, "I can't. I have to see this catfish. I have to." And then I was out of school for the next few days, and I had a video camera. And so I went around and filmed my cats. It was my cat and my stepdad's 2 cats. And I'd filmed them in different positions, being rude to each other, just moving around, and then made a Star Wars movie.
Oh, my God.
And added in dialogue between the cats, the videos of the cats. And,
this, folks, is how Casey became one of the great filmmakers of our time.
Yeah. I literally, after healing up and stopped taking the medicine, I went back and watched it and was like, what the fuck did I make?
Yeah.
It was great, though, because my cat was very, like, turquoise and different colors, and the other cat was a black cat, so the black cat was obviously the Sith.
Yeah.
And then my cat was, not. So.
Makes perfect sense.
It was great. It was great.
I think hydros just made me sleep.
See, that's what they did to me. Like I've actually had some like dental surgery and stuff where just regular old ibuprofen seemed to reduce the pain a lot better than anything narcotic, but the narcotics just knock you out. So you get rest. So
I started thinking that's what the trick was. And it may be, because anytime I ever had to take hydros for anything, which is like twice, I think, in my life, I honestly don't remember the pain ever dulling. I just know that you get real hazy up top. So I think like you're distracted, and then I'd wake up 4 hours later.
Yeah.
It fucking lightened up my sight. It enlightened me. I was like, give me more.
Do drugs, kids.
Then I realized the problem of hydros. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude. It's well, and you got to think, man, that's medical grade shit. Like,
well, it's also one of those things like,
that's been refined in a fucking lab, dude. Like it's that's why so many people get hooked on pills, addicted to pills, is they're just so like, you know what I mean?
After the bottle went empty and I quit having to take it, I still hurt. Like my body was still like, get another hydro. Like your mouth still hurts. And it had been like 2 months after my surgery.
Yeah.
And like I've already had the stitches removed, and I told the dentist, I was like, yeah, it still hurts. And they're like, it doesn't hurt. That's just hydros. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, your body wants it. Your body wants that. So you're going to have to like suffer through this kind of phantom-esque pain.
Yeah, which is weird. It's also weird that like a lot of times those things will start to create like serotonin or dopamine or something like that. So not only do you get like, you feel like you're getting a medicinal thing, but you also kind of just have like this mood enhancement. And that's when it's really fucking scary, because you feel like, oh, I feel better with the pill.
Yeah.
And it is exactly that thought where you need to, where a lot of people go, well, shit, let me just get some more. And then that's where again, I don't know.
Give me more.
I've had friends that had severe pill I've known personally 3 or 4 people whose lives were just wrecked because of prescription drugs. It's fucking scary, man. It's scary because it's legal. It's legal to prescribe. Like you can go to the pharmacy and get it, and nobody looks at you weird. It's not like you're buying a needle or something under a bridge. Like
but it kind of is.
Well, I mean, the addiction effect.
But it's a government sanctioned bridge.
Like a doctor, a guy that went to medical school, wrote you a prescription because you had back problems. So you're getting your prescription filled, just like you did when you were a
my
kid.
vape pen's so illegal.
Yeah. I hate that so much. We've already talked about drugs and rights before, though. Go down that rabbit hole again.
Well, and again, I'm not going to say names, but a really good friend of mine, some people will know who I'm talking about, had a really, really bad problem with Oxycontins, and he had a lot of back problems. fucking doctor just loaded him up on him. We got hooked.
Of course. Why? How could you not, even if you weren't addicted?
And really fucked him up, man. Finally, he went to rehab and got on this thing called Suboxone, which is kind of like it's like an anti-heroin kind of a thing, like that. So basically stops you from getting the effects of the Oxycontin like that. But if you stop taking it, you also have withdrawals. So, but he was talking about just like having to go get his prescription for Suboxone filled. And people look at you just like you're a piece of shit. He goes, if I was in there getting a whole bottle of Oxycontins because I had a fucking back issue, I'd be considered a pillar of the community. But the fact that I'm going to get this stuff because I'm trying to get better, they just look at you like you're a turd. Now, some of that may have been him being sensitive about it. I mean, I don't know, but it sucks that people who are getting help have to feel that way, and like, I don't know, doctors are just prescribing the fuck out of that shit. It's another good, I think, in somewhere in there's another good argument for the decriminalization of marijuana, because you see that in this country, like we've said that before in this podcast, but in states where they legalize marijuana, the prescription epidemic goes way down. Opioid crisis just drops out. So, whatever.
Shadow government.
New world order.
Exterminate.
Oh, nice.
Thanks.
Darlak.
Yeah.
Darlak? Is it Darlak?
King Gamora.
Got it. Nailed it.
All our Whovian fans out there.
So have you watched Veronica Mars yet, Hunter?
No, but I'm going to, and I'm very excited to.
Boy, I tell you what.
I got 72 episodes in a movie to get through before I can get to the thing that you guys got to.
Shit.
No, 72 episodes is part of the 4th season.
Oh, thank God.
The first 3 seasons are only for 64 episodes.
Okay.
And a movie. And then you have 8 more episodes.
That's a lot.
It really, I mean, it sounds like it when you lay it out that way, but it's not.
A lot, but
it's also not streaming style either. Like it's 40 minutes.
It's 40 minutes, and also the episodes are so fun that you just keep watching them and not realize you've been through 8.
Yeah.
I was super impressed with the new season. Super fucking impressed. And like
the face you sent in the text, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, and we don't want to give the ending away, but like
a lot of people hated the ending. I thought it was great.
But,
a lot of shit
Kristen Bell, according to you, Spencer said that it's the ending we needed.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. After seeing it now, I don't disagree.
Did she roast your marshmallow or did she burn it?
Wait a minute. What are you guys talking about?
Veronica.
Kristen Bell said what?
When they released the new season on Hulu, she said, I think this is the season everyone needs. I don't know if they're going to like it or not. This may not be the season you want, but it's the season you need.
I think it was the season I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted.
Sounds like it was a season of change.
I don't know. For me, it was both. But I'd say what I like a lot is people that I know now. People that I wasn't hanging out with back when I used to watch Veronica Mars, are now going back and catching up. And they're just like, it's just blowing everybody away. Like they're constantly on Instagram, like posting memes. Like they just finished season 3 and they're just like staring, like. So a lot of cool stuff like that.
I can't wait to jump in and finally, like, halfway through the first season, have my brain just explode with the whole "this is why Spencer never stopped talking about it" back in the day.
Well, and it's hard to say why it's good. That's the thing.
And that's fair.
The story's great. It's actually the stories always turn out to be more complex than you thought, and so the story actually will pull the rug out from under you every now and then. You'll go, "Oh fuck,
yeah, I
didn't see that coming." Like it's smart writing, but even more smart. Even beyond the plot. It has so much personality. More,
that's lacking
I
a
would
lot.
dare say more than any show. That's a big statement.
Scooby-Doo season 1's pretty hard to beat.
I'll take your word for it.
I like the show way better than I like the movie, but I feel like the movie was more fan service than it was an actual story.
I was one of the people. I'm in the credits. My name's on the credits of the Veronica Mars movie.
Really?
How much money did you get for that?
I don't remember. I didn't get any money for it. It was
you gave money to be in a movie?
No, I gave money for it. I was one of the people that supported the Kickstarter campaign for it.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
You're a cock.
And you're eating nuts.
I'm not a cock. I am
a cuck.
Because I'm a diva. I miss recording sessions. We don't even have a CD.
Do you text the band? You're like, I'm just not feeling voicerous. What was it? What's the voice?
He comes in with his entourage.
Yeah, I look out the window and see a light sprinkle and go, my vocal cords feel flooded.
They're
I gotta
fanning
stay
him
home.
with vocal spray. Someone's handing him a tea.
I can't. When
Someone
Randy
has hot
Wetzel
sauce
is
in a
holding
spray
grapes
bottle.
over you eat. He's got a wet soul.
I'm just gonna keep eating
What
these
the
nuts.
fuck is happening?
I'm tired. I got 3 days off coming up.
Must be nice.
No shit.
It is nice.
I also have.
It wasn't planned, but you know.
I have today, tomorrow, and Saturday off.
Fuck you guys.
No, I've got tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
I'm sick as shit, so I'm gonna end up.
Oh yeah, you're summer cold.
Yeah,
you got that summertime congestion.
I'll be fucking laying in bed watching TV shows and movies all weekend. I'm sure. Sucking down chicken noodle soup. It's exactly what my throat feels like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen,
is it time to put a plug on this bitch?
time to plug this bitch.
Oh, shit. Well, Hunter, I hate that you missed the first half having to poop,
That's okay.
but
I had to unplug my butt.
Everybody poops.
Which is a great book. I actually spent some time in the children's section at Books A Million the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't find anything.
I will say,
Is it organized by author or by book title?
We'll talk when we stop recording.
I think it's book title.
Say no more. Say no more. Everybody was really nice, but I was like, I can't find shit. I was trying to find, our guest, Daniel Wiseman.
You're up on the wall in the back now, by the way.
I am?
Yeah.
Because why?
The Beacon House live posters.
Oh, is it up there?
Yeah, they got hung up, and there's a blurb next to it that says, "Hey guys, this is Hunter's podcast. Go give it a listen. It's really cool." And I was like,
Oh, nice.
Who did that?
Katie,
Aw.
head manager. Yeah,
Shit, dude.
she loves us. And I was
She's always been really cool to me in there.
please listen and then mute it. Like, don't listen to what I say.
I don't.
coworkers.
Maybe she doesn't know who I am because I've been in there a bunch.
She does. She came up to me the other day and was like, "Hey, we got Dwarves back in. Casey was in looking for it." And I was like, He
Hot damn.
He got it already, but I'll let him know. We have the sequels.
I was impatient. Sorry.
Still,
It's
I tell
okay.
you what, man. Still my favorite bookstore in the world.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Can't get a. There's just so many books in there.
It'd be
so
nice
much
if it would
stuff.
carry the Trader Sun cycle since I'm reading that right now.
What's that?
Really, really grim dark fantasy, written by a historical fiction author. So it's dense. It's like reading fiber. It's not.
I get it. I get it.
But it's got dragons and nuns and
Dragons and nuns.
yeah, like a nun gets murdered and this
dragon?
mercenary group shows up. A dragon's involved
Fuck.
with the murder. Mercenary group shows up and the guy's like, "Hey, head nun, give us more money than you're offering or we won't help you." And she's like, "I can't." And then like this mage shows up that's undead and made a deal with the devil. And there's 80 characters.
80.
God damn.
Fuck.
It's so good though.
Stephen King's The Stand doesn't hold a candle to that
No.
shit.
Oh shit.
No, and there's 5 books. I've only read the one. It's so good.
Dang,
it's
dude.
so good. I can't recommend it highly enough, but you need to know you're not going to really be able to follow all the plot lines. At least I couldn't until the last 20 pages, which I kind of hate, honestly. They were all cool, but I at
give you
page
props for hanging in
600.
there. Those are exactly the kind of writing projects that lose me pretty quickly.
I was broken, I had nothing else to read, so I was like, we're in this for the long haul.
Fucking A, dude.
He brought it home, though. Author totally brought it home. Big ass battle. Everyone shows up that was still alive, and I was like, oh, this is how the pieces fall together.
Dang,
So yeah,
not bad.
everyone poops. Go read The Red Knight.
I do have a closing statement. I owe an apology to people.
Uh-oh.
So
What could this be about?
I have to apologize.
I feel like this is going to be something smart-ass.
It's not. It's not.
No, a lot of people out there have gotten the impression that I care, and I just want to apologize to them because I've given you false promise because I still don't give a shit. Oh my.
This is a public service announcement from Casey Bishop. Casey does not give a fuck what you think.
Help me.
Oh my.